Spontaneous speaking video 80. For those who pay attention to my Twitter, if you don't, then that's also fine. But I've had a few friends like tell me like, hey, I realized that you don't really like tweet about type anymore, which is different from discussing type with other people. Like, I will tweet certain thoughts, ideas, concepts, whatever, but they won't necessarily be type related. Like, you'll very rarely see me say something like, oh, well, like as an ENFJ, or as a 9, or as this now. You won't see me like tweet as much about that, because I guess now I kind of see myself as like I am the product in a way. And so I don't have to restate all the time, I guess, that I am ENFJ or that I am this. In fact, even in my YouTube videos, I've rarely done that. For me, it's more like this is one of the titles or one of the labels that I ascribe to. And everybody should know this label by now. And so that gives me the freedom to be whatever I am. And in being me and in sharing whatever I am, you can see like, okay, well, I'm still in a way telling you like as an ENFJ, because you already know that I'm an ENFJ. So, oh, well, Denzel's talking about this, he's talking about that. And you can automatically, people will respond to certain tweets and they'll be like, oh, I wonder if this is an FE thing. And I don't mind engaging with that for sure. But at the end of the day, it's like, I still do what I want to do. I still tweet what I want to tweet, whatever, and I don't have to like remind people of where it might be coming from, or have them I allow them to make the connection, even if I haven't seen the connection yet. But yeah, that being said, I feel like I haven't been like tweeting as much at all, maybe not at all, but I haven't been tweeting as much about type explicitly, and that's because I don't know, like I feel like I've kind of like reached this point where I'm like, maybe I've outgrown the system. Not saying it in a way that's like, oh, I've become better than other people or whatever, but in the sense that, oh, this is an interesting thing about spontaneous speaking videos, because you're kind of just speaking your mind with no editing until the thoughts start to form. But in a way, what I'm saying is that I don't feel. Today was one of the first days that I even started to think to myself, like, am I really even ENFJ? Which is crazy, because like I know that I'm an ENFJ, but I guess because I see so many things that I'm like, I'm not like that. I'm not like that either. Or like I'll see like a whole flock of ENFJ talking about, oh yeah, like this. Like I guess like one example, I saw that like someone said something like FJs are not really good at hiding their feelings, and I personally, I think there's like some nuance to that. Like IFJs, I don't think that they might be very good at it, but I think that EFJs are very good at it. I made a video off of that about like how facial expressions and stuff like that are intentional, and I even made like the video where I was talking about get a grip, pretty much like knowing how much your emotions and your feelings can influence around you. That all of a sudden like makes you like become more aware of your feelings and what you're emitting. But then at the same time, being open to the fact that I'm not the only example of an ENFJ or whatever, FE user, even though I feel like I've seen this with other FE users and they like stuff like that. But then I've saw other FE users like, oh yeah, this is very true and stuff. So it's like, oh well, this kind of like contradicts, but whatever. So stuff like that, it's like, okay. And I think essentially another thing for me has been that like, okay, even like another thing, like I saw a tweet like, oh well, if you're in a relationship with like I guess it's like a thing, apparently I heard that NI users interrupt each other in conversation because they don't want to lose the thought, which like it makes sense, but I don't I don't relate to that. And I don't, I see this more with like NE users. Anyway, Denzel, where are you going with this? Pretty much what I'm just saying is that I realized this, this is the whole point of the video. At the end of the day, I'm me. And that's what it all comes down to. I've come to realize more and more, like this has been a very gradual process, but more and more I'm realizing that regardless of whatever type that I am, regardless of whatever that I am, at the end of the day, I'm still me. And you can choose to see me as just an Enneagram 9 or as just an ENFJ or as just a Christian. I made a video off of that too. Like, you're so much more than your type. You can choose to just see me from one of those labels. It'd be wrong, or it'd be very limited. It wouldn't be wrong, but it'd be like very limited view of me. But at the end of the day, like, I see myself as like very nuanced, very, very different, you know, like very, very, I guess, yeah, like strange. Like I'm not, nobody should be limited to any of these systems. Now, disclaimer, I'm not saying that the systems are trash, and I'm not saying that I'm going to stop altogether talking about it. Like, I'm a coach, I'm a life coach, and I use the MBTI system for my life coaching. I also enjoy discussing MBTI and typology with like people. So I'm not saying like, so I'm now leaving the group, don't come talk to me about it, none of that. I'm actually going to continue to like, you know, still post videos. I got the ISTJ deep dive interview that I recorded all the way back in January, and I finally was able to, edit it and everything. I'm just waiting for a good day where I can premiere it and live stream it, where I can actually promise y'all that I'll be present. It'll be a good time. So yeah, you know, I got stuff like that. I got like other videos like the ENFJ God complex that I kind of like wanted to talk about. I got type stuff, you know, coming up, and it's still a good tool for lots of insights, like knowing that I'm a social and that I'm self-preservation blind and that I'm a 9. All of these different things have helped me to be able to find who I truly am. Not that I am truly just ENFJ or that I'm truly just Enneagram 9, or even, I don't know much about the Graves model. I'm seeing a lot of people like talk about it on my timeline and everything, and it seems all so confusing, especially since it seems like nobody can actually accurately diagnose themselves and identify what they really are. And I'm not trying to fall into any type of cognitive dissonance. So now, honestly, I just started thinking, like, you know, like, I don't care, like, if I'm a Graves level 2, you know, which I actually looked at, and I was like, you know, even if this is like, you know, a 2, and it's like, wait, what? Like that, like there's like 8 so far that we know of. Even if that's what I am, I don't really care, because at the end of the day, I could say like, yeah, I'm a Graves level 2, but guess what? In the most humble way possible, you still think that I'm a kind person. You still see me to be someone who's honest. You still see me as someone who's like vulnerable. You still see me as somebody who's empathetic, someone who's insightful, whatever. So this label of Graves 2 being on me doesn't change anything. It doesn't. It's the same thing with like, I'm a Sagittarius. I don't know much about astrology. You know, I don't know much about the zodiac signs and all of that. I don't know what my moon is and the sun rising. I don't know all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, if you put that label on me, I'll be like, okay. But when you get to know me, whether I fit certain things about Sagittarius or not, whatever you think of me after getting to know me as an individual, that's all that matters. Because at the end of the day, I'm me. And so continuing to chew on that very phrase, at the end of the day, I'm me, has helped me to better process a lot of things I'm going through right now with just, you know, my mindset on typology systems and everything. And another disclaimer is like, you know, I see a lot of people who who love type, and then they go online. Sorry, there's Just give it a moment. Just give it like a few seconds.
But yeah, it's not cool right now.
Okay, so yeah, I've seen a lot of people who love type, for example, or have loved type. They love type, honestly, and they will talk so much about it, whatever, write articles, make YouTube videos, all of that, and then they come on Twitter or Facebook or something after some time, and they start to bash it. So, I've outgrown the system. Type is just BS now, like, isn't this just dumb? Like, and they'll just start saying stuff. They'll pretty much like start trying to poke fun at it as if like it's dumb. And to me, I don't really respect when people do that, because it's almost like I'm not trying to call anybody out. I'm not. So please don't take it that way. But to me, it's almost like you're shaming the people who are in the system, who are still excited, who are still where you just left. And I don't think that's fair. I think that it's good to be able to speak well about what you love, and then kind of be silent maybe sometimes about what you hate. Like, for example, if you hate racism, you should probably speak up about that, sure. But stuff like this, like, type isn't really like hurting anybody or many people, depending on how people are using it. We shouldn't really like bash it, especially if you were so into it. So all of that being said, like I said, I'll still be using like the system. I'll still be making videos on typology. I'll still be discussing typology with my clients, my coaching clients. I'll still be discussing it with, friends and Twitter, all of that. My whole thing is that I want to let everybody know that at the end of the day, you are still you. One thing that I used to tell people is that for me, if I wasn't an ENFJ, honestly, if I found out, I'm being so serious. If somebody came to me and was able to convince me that, like previously I was typing out as INFP on every test until the most recent one. Apparently they updated the 16 personalities test and I got INFJ, but even then the E versus I was like on the cusp. So it's like, okay, well, y'all are, I guess, kind of like doing better, but still, yeah, like if I was to be convinced that I'm an INFP or even an ISFJ, I don't know, something else, at the end of the day, I'd be like, oh, dang. But because I know so much of who I am, and because I know myself as an individual, I'm not really offended by it, because it's like, at the end of the day, I'm still cool in a modest way. Like, I'm still cool for whatever type that I am, and that's just what it is. Like, we just found out that Denzel's an INFP. Okay, well, that doesn't change anything. I have to probably change my videos or whatever. I have to start learning you guys that, like, actually, I've been using all of the wrong functions. I've been, kind of like whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm still me. Everything that I said in my previous videos, every conversation that you've had with me, all of that was still who I am. That's not me. I don't try to fit the system. The system fits me. And then when it's no longer fitting me and I've outgrown it, I still keep the pictures of me when I looked nice in that outfit. But now it's like, and I'm not going to look back and be like, oh, that outfit was so ugly or anything, or, give the hand-me-downs to somebody else and like make fun of them for it. Like, I'm still going to keep those outfits. But now it's like, now you're learning more other things, and you find your own style from those things. So the systems have helped me to find myself. They've all served as a really good map. And coincidentally, I was actually just talking to one of my great friends, INFJ and Pathos, on the phone today, and it's funny because like we have a really interesting friendship, interesting dynamic, where it just seems like there's a lot of like synchronicities that happen, and she kind of put up this tweet thread that she said, like, wow, this is crazy, because this is kind of like what I was tweeting the other day, or a month ago maybe. It says, learn about yourself. Every personality system, every label. Learn how they shape you, learn how they can help you grow. And once you've learned as much as you want, disidentify from it. See yourself as moving fluidly between and beyond acquired self-knowledge. And then the next tweet was, I am a lot of things and not one of them defines me, by Timber Hawkeye. And then she sent another tweet, which this one was 3/27/2019. No model or system will ever completely explain your identity. You are much too complex. Just as standing on a map doesn't transport you to a given location, learning about an element of your personality doesn't deconstruct you to being only that thing, which is quoted by Personality Hacker. The goal is to familiarize ourselves with each personality map, a representation of the node in the system of who we are, and eventually see how all of these parts interrelate. Whoa. Because I've heard all of these quotes and stuff before, but now I'm really grasping it. Like I'm really understanding all of this. You know what I mean? I'm better. I'm now seeing it within myself. I never really fully like made ENFJ like my identity in the first place. I used it to help me to grow, to help me to understand myself. I did use it as a model for sure, and I'm continuing to do so. There are still going to be times, even later on today, where I'm holding on to the system. It's another arrow in my arsenal, along with all of the other arrows, and I'm going to know when to use which one to attack certain things. You know what I mean? So I'm still going to be using like certain experiences and like looking back and being like, oh, you know, that's because I'm an FE, or like, oh, that's me narcotizing as a 9 again, or oh, you know, that's because I'm a Graves 2 or something, you know, whatever it might be. Oh, that's my love language, like it's quality time and then words of affirmation. So that's why, while this person's is more of like physical touch, so that makes sense why, you know, this is going on. And I'm gonna still be using these models, sure, still gonna be making videos, all of that. I will not be bashing people who are using these models. I'll not be scoffing at them like, wow, look at that, I have graduated. No, I'm not going to see it that way either. But just at the end of the day, I'm me. At the end of the day, I'm me. I see myself as Denzel Mensah, you know, who happens to also be an ENFJ, who happens to also be Enneagram 9, social, sexual, don't even know my tri-type, to be honest. Y'all can guess if y'all want to. I still happen to be African. I happen to be a Christian as well. My identity is found in Christ. I believe that. But still Denzel. At the end of the day, I'm still me. Somebody who's still continuing to work on himself to become better. And help other people to become better too. Whoever wants to listen, whoever is watching this video, whoever cares enough, you know, stuff like that, I'm still going to be willing to help. But I'm not going to allow these things to define me. If I see things, you know, online that, in my opinion, it's like, oh, I don't think that's a general thing for ENFJs, you know, I might just choose not to even correct it. You know, it's just like, it is what it is. I don't want to come off as like controversial. If anything, people will find that out on their own, or not even. I'll just leave that out. Well, can't cut it because spontaneous. Dang, my own rules are getting to me. For those who don't know, spontaneous speaking video means that I'm gonna make the video without making any types of edits, and I just have to blah. So this is this is really fun. I'm sure it is for those of you watching, because I can't take back the words that I'm saying. And at the same time, I try to talk faster in these so that they don't take up as much time. But look at us, we're still already at 20 minutes anyway. So I think I'm just going to wrap it up by saying, yes, at the end of the day, I'm still me, regardless of whatever type I am, whether it's Enneagram, whatever ethnicity, whatever it is, I'm still who I am, especially whatever you saw me as before. That model should not define me. It could help explain certain aspects of me, but it won't define me. And there's going to be parts of it that I might not relate to. And that's because there is no perfect model. Models are supposed to be maps, like they help you. And they've helped me to find who I am. I don't think I would have been able to arrive at this place of knowing who I am enough so that other people cannot tell me who I am not. You know what I mean? Like, when if another person now tells me stuff like, oh yeah, Denzel, like, you're passive aggressive, I will accept that. I'm all about accepting what is accurate about myself. I will accept that. Is this something I'm proud about? No. I'm continuing to work on it. But at the end of the day, I'm still me. Now, if somebody tells me something like, oh, Denzel, you're rude, or I don't know, like some things that I honestly look into myself and it's just not true. I'm going to be like, no, that's not true. I disagree with you. I'm not that. I am passive aggressive, sure. And I have other bad traits, but that's not one of them. But yeah, these models helped me to look at myself more clearly. And now I believe that I have thanks to these models, I've grown a very good perception of myself. They've helped me to ask certain questions that I wouldn't have asked without these models, without the people in the community to be able to help me out. And now I help other people do that with my life coaching. But at the end of the day, I'm still me, and you are still you. Done.